We are two buddies, one mic. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's
It's been a while. And why? Because we had gone on vacation. Doing two buddies, one mic consistently for 1 year. We turned 1 year old and went to Hawaii. Okay, we went on vacation. Okay, and now we're back. We're re-energized. We've also look at us.
Yes.
Look at us.
We're even glowing. Can you tell? Can you tell?
Are you pregnant?
Wait. This pregnancy, y'all are just pushing it too hard. Y'all are pushing too hard on it. Anyway, but we also can't forget to mention that part of also the reason why it took a bit to come back is obviously because of the whole Mandamano, all of the political stuff that's happening. We just needed to be in a headspace where we're not about to come here and start fighting you and fighting the world. We just needed to
Yeah.
And by the way, we still insist, Ruto must go.
Yeah.
Viva.
Okay, all right. It would have been kind of weird for us to be here talking about relationships and ourselves, and there's a whole protest going on. It just felt very insensitive.
Very, very.
But we're back. Okay, things are still going on, but we're back pushing P. And the question we're asking today, or the scenario we have before us, is how do we make our relationships better and more sweeter? Unaongeza the kapiri in your relationships. We're also talking about how things are toxic, but how do you actively stay intimate with your partner? How do you show up and show out 100%? And because of that conversation, or the thing that triggered this conversation is a DM that was sent to me, and this is what she said. Please help me out. Between husband and wife, who is supposed to initiate the love making?
You?
The bomb chickawawa. We're supposed to say, it's time, darling, it's time. I have noticed that I am the only one who asks for it anytime, and I'm getting tired because I believe he should play the biggest part of asking me for it, but he will just sleep there. And when I touch him, I feel like he's almost bursting. He's almost bursting, but he's sleeping there with his eyes fully open, waiting for me to touch him, and then he jumps on me like a wounded buffalo.
Not the wounded buffalo.
It's just the wording. The wording has me. Why hurt himself with feelings but not ask for it? I am tired. He ni ujinga ama ni nini? I kind of get it.
Wounded buffalo.
Exactly. Like, you're the one always initiating sex. You could feel unwanted.
True.
It's kind of jarring.
True.
But, personally for me, I think I always expect the man to initiate intimacy or to initiate sex. And that's not how it should be. It should be both of us. When you're feeling the things, unasema, how are you? Wake up. And when he does the same to you, but I do understand how she could feel some type of way.
Yeah.
This man never initiates anything.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it won't happen.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
I think it's very unfair to actually trust that responsibility on one person, regardless of gender. In this case, she's the one responsible. It always feels like it's giving
So
you don't want me and I'm forcing myself on you. Like, why would that be the situation when we're in an actual marriage, especially when you're married? Like, that's when you're supposed to let your freak flag fly. Yani ukiingia kwenye relationship long term hivi ukiingia kwenye mapenzi mwamwe haya basi tupige ndoa tumalize.
Hakuna pale unaenda.
There is no excuse. There is absolutely no excuse. If you're in a long term relationship or you are fully married, there is really no excuse. You're supposed to enjoy yourself, have fun, really get to know each other, not just intellectually and all, but also intimately. Like, you're not supposed to be freaking out about na nikimwambia atashtuka. Atashtuka ataenda wapi? Hakuna pahali pa
hiyo reservation valid by the way. Unaweza mwambia napenda kuweka kidole pahali. Aseme, "Guy wa Kimani, what is this?"
I've been watching TikToks and there's a lady who says there's this position, and then there's this position, this one, and then there's this one. I'm like, what are all these fingers trying to illustrate?
It's gang sign.
It's giving Wu-Tang. Woo, 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 woo. And then she's like, yeah, kwanza the advanced ones, I'm like, what is happening, dear God? Anyway, I personally feel like in that case, it's very unfair to trust responsibility on one person, regardless. And I feel really bad for her because then sometimes, hey, you feel like you're the one who's always seeking it out. And then the worst part is like now you start hearing the narratives of if he's not eating at home, he's eating somewhere else. Tubo maji, what are you going to do?
And that's what the algorithm does. If you go something like the issues plaguing your relationships is what the algorithm is churning for you. You know, you mekwa cold war, mnapitana hivi muongeleshani. Unaingia TikTok. If he's not talking to you, he's talking to his secretary. I'm like, oh my god.
Why?
Jesus
Why?
Christ.
Why does it always have to like trigger you and force you to believing that your partner is seeing someone else?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think even the bigger conversation here is the lead up to the sex. Because in her case, it feels like it's just, and then you get it done. There's a lot of stuff that leads up to it. There's a lot of stuff that can also trigger. Even if you're the one constantly initiating, if the person does a few things beforehand, you don't feel like it's this huge task because you're already ready. Okay, you are too. Something's going down.
Foreplay is just not.
It's really,
Foreplay is just not saliva.
Do you know, that's why people are running for okra water. People are running for other funny things like Coca-Cola and milk.
Hey, foreplay blames.
It's because nobody is initiating this thing from the morning. Mtu akiamka asubuhi akwambie I love you. Alafu aende shughuli zake. The whole day unafikiria tu huyo mtu, unafikiria ukakisi wenye kalikufanya ukasikia vizuri hiyo asubuhi. You know, you wake up excited about the day, you're ready to carpe diem. It's not even anything else. They just woke up and said before they went to work or watch a booking morota. Very, very nice. I feel like for me that is a must. And I realized most of these things you also have to speak up and say it. Hey, when you do A, B, C, D, E, I actually feel really, really nice. So like me, ukiamka, jalishi unaenda wapi, you must, alafu unasema good morning. Kama umeenda. Hata kandoto kenye nitapata after that, itakuwa very nice.
Naenda unarudi
unangorota.
But I feel like it's always the lead up to it. And it feels some type of way when somebody has not talked to you the whole day. They've not even checked on you. Hata hajakutumia hata lunch. Hata vile mliongea, hey, I'm going for lunch. Akisema, okay,
enjoy.
Good for you. Na akazima simu. How do you expect me to bump chikawawa with you? You did not care about me.
In anger.
But trust me, when, there's been acts of intentional checking up on you during the day, you feel like, I love mommy. I want to be nasty for you. But if there was none of that,
absolutely not.
It just feels like you want to get off and that's it.
Yeah,
we're only having sex because you're here and it's convenient, and that doesn't feel nice.
It really does not. I think also a very important thing to notice is also learn your partner's likes, because foreplay is different for different people. There are people like us maybe who like the talking, the cutesy things you do during the day. Like if you're in the house together, they just go over there, they ongezea you another one, they tickle you a little bit, you check. You feel very nice. So honestly, those are some of the things I think for some people that are like that. But for different people, it's different things. For other people, it's when you woke up and you did the dishes. Say ako ready. Now let's clean house. Let's go. Your man woke up, made you breakfast. Your one woke up and made you breakfast. Baby, this is for you. Now, some people get really, really, turned on by that.
Acts of service.
Exactly.
She did that for me.
It works differently for different people. So it's very, very important that you also learn your partner because, as you said, it's different for different people.
Yeah.
Learn what your partner appreciates, what they feel is love to them, or an extension of, taking care of them, or foreplay, for lack of better words. If it is you taking the children away for a few hours and you give them that, that peace of mind, and now when you're coming back home, they have that energy. Because imagine you woke up in the morning, you had to be the one riding around, taking all these kids to moshe, umvalishe nguo, ushughulikie breakfast, uwapeleke shule, ukaikae kidogo hivi kidogo, ukimbie job, ukitoka job unakuja mbio kwende kulea watoto, kuwaosha tena, kuwapatia activities. After that, sijui ndio tena wapikie supper, wakiwatch TV huko, wakisikiliza sijui Cocomelon and the other funny things that people listen to and watch Roblox. Ndio huyo exactly. Kwanza kushughulikia za asubuhi, watakula nini breakfast, nguo zao zimeoshwa, zimepigwa pasi. And after all that, you have to still put them to bed, which is already a task. And then your partner is over there saying, hey baby, can we? Hauna nguvu wala uweza. Umechoka.
And I think you had mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Communication is a huge part of making your relationship better.
Absolutely.
Even if it feels like you're saying the same thing over and over again, sit down and ask yourself, how do I repackage this in a way that's more digestible for this other person? Like maybe the way I'm saying
them,
maybe every time I'm communicating what I want, I'm coming at it from a confrontational place. I'm like, hata haufanyangi hivyo, hata wao haunigeuzi like this, mbona usifanye kama kina Njeri? When somebody is calling you out on something,
nilisikia wanjikuwa akisema wao wana
you'll get defensive obviously, and you're going to avoid this person. So maybe like, hey, maybe I need to repackage how I'm saying this. And also around sexual matters and intimacy issues, people shy away from having these conversations, and I do not know why. Finance and sex is just very taboo topics for most people, and I kind of get it, because maybe we've been together for like 5 years, and then all through these years I've not communicated what I actually like, and maybe what I like might be a little bit kinky. It might be 50 Shades of Kimani. So now, picking on Kimani, but it might be a little bit out there, and maybe your partner is a bit conservative. You've known him for 5 years, and now you're wondering, now if I bring this up all of a sudden, will he think I've been seeing other things, other people? Like you're scared of being judged, but maybe he's even having the same type of thoughts.
Maybe.
You just never knew.
You never know.
So I feel like always communicate what you want. And if it's a bit out there, and they say, hey, that's a boundary I'm not willing to go with, at least you put it out there. And maybe they might put in the effort to do it for you. And it might actually even give them like the space, like the safe space to say, now that you mentioned that, I've been wanting to try out this. Would you be open to it? I love it when such conversations are had, because it just feels like you're my best friend and I can help you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I actually, I had this friend of mine. I'm so sorry I tell you this story.
It is who it is.
She goes to hang out with this man. This man had always said, I'm a bit, out there, I'm a bit kinky. And she's a very reserved, girly. But she says, okay, bet. They go, and as they're doing the deed, this man bites her. Bites like how? Not like small biting. Biting enough to cause pain. No, he was eating her. And not the way she wanted to be ate. We're like, hey, what's that? It was like, I'm into biting. First of all, that is something you should have communicated.
Please.
Because now, it could borderline assault.
Yes.
Because why would you bite me?
I'm here bruises explaining to people my man likes to chew on me.
Why would that turn you on? So I feel like communicating so the other person is not shocked. Don't do that. We've seen the very popular put the finger inside him if he's staying too long. Did you ask for consent? Did you? And babes are here like, mimi nafanyanga hivyo. You listen to Sugashambi. Sugashambi is a misleader.
That's not a person you listen to about sex.
I say, that's low-key assault. Like he's on top of you, and then you do that, and babe umefanya acrylics, umefanya hizi stiletto, unafanya hivyo somebody sana.
Without lubrication even.
Of course, it's going to be shocked. It might give you the results you're looking for,
but it is going to be traumatic.
But it's very traumatic.
Always be afraid.
He will never trust you.
They will never trust you.
He'll always be like, wait, mandatory. Get on top, babes. And put your hands where I can see them. So always communicate what you would want, what you also don't want. Maybe he has been doing, how they like rub you. Just explain. my love, I love you. I love you so much. And always say it with love, communicate with love. I love you, but that's not where my clitoris is, your lips. You're rubbing my lips. You've been doing that for 5 years. And I just thought I'd like to tell him because I'd love to spend the rest of my life.
Or assure him. You know,
Yes.
sometimes talking is difficult.
Show him.
As he's over there.
Don't start a fire, my love.
Why are you constantly with your tears? Because your man and I shall not to coach
Oh, it's not that.
Hey, you have to have recovery time after intercourse. It's not funny. It's not funny. I think another one which I also realized with the same beat of communication is it's actually very interesting if you have an open day. What do I mean by an open day? A day when you actually decide, you know what, today let's try different things. You come with a list of what you want to try. I come with a list of what I want to try. We see whether it actually works for either of us. You know, because sometimes you're thinking about it, but where practical is a problem. So you have to give yourselves grace because this is new. We're all learning. We're all in different levels of sexual experience or at different levels of sexual experience. So it's important to learn together so you don't get the same old stuff all the time. Maybe one day you're like, Leo, let's try a few things. You come up with a list of things you want to try. I've also come up with a list of what things I want to try, and then let's try them together. One at a time, yako yangu. Ultimately, you actually find new things you're interested in, or you realize, after a while to mislead. I realized where I thought I was flexible, but I need to go back and do some yoga, some Pilates, because where my legs don't move like that. Things on my body don't move like that. I think that's actually really fun. First of all, it allows both of you to actually figure out your kinks without judgment, because you're bringing your stuff, I'm bringing my stuff as something I'm curious about. Number two, it allows for you to explore your curiosity so that this person is not thinking about attempting it with someone else, or like, you know, honestly, some of these things you're like fantasizing about them, but you can easily just have these experiences with your own partner. So why not give yourself a chance, give yourselves grace, and allow yourselves to learn something new in the process. I really genuinely appreciate the, hey, I want to try this, I want to try this. We try that together. It's very fun. It's a lot of fun.
And I know it's difficult. Trust me, I have recently had this conversation and it was so difficult. It took me days, just days of overanalyzing and agonizing how I'm going to word this to come from a place of love. You know, to say, hey babe, I would really like to try this and I hope I'm not freaking you out.
Yep.
And when I say this, I'm like, actually, I'm glad you brought it up.
I'm glad you
I've
did.
been wanting to say this for a minute. And it became such an interesting experience. Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate further?
No. That's TMI.
That's bedroom.
I've actually come to realize that y'all actually know me.
You've been watching with your man, and guys are like, oh, new man.
The way I've been bumping into you guys, I'll be like, maybe it's time I started censoring what I say on this podcast, because we bump into each other like two baddies. Anyway, but I will keep it halal for you though.
Yeah. And for those guys who are more on the simpler side of life, where you just want to have the most basic things, like we were watching a video on TikTok, and most of the men were saying the same thing. I like it when my wife calls me by pet names. You know, there's a thing about calling someone by their name. Mimi unaniita Kathomi, unaniita Faith. Very badly, in fact.
That actually happened recently in front of his family. And I didn't even realize we were in front of other people. He's like, Faith, I was like, Faith, Nina, I mean it, babe. And then I realized, he's in front of his family. I am so sorry, my in-laws. I did not mean for you to see me in that light.
I mean, it's so funny if you think about it. Something as simple as calling someone by the name can really trigger some. Mimi, actually, I don't even know the last time I had my own name in this house. Mako nasahau what your name is. And someone can even call you, Kathomi. You're like, it takes you a minute. Because I'll respond, let's just wait for you.
You're holding that.
So I saw the guys were saying things like, call him any nice name, honey, baby, cutie pie, whatever, a nickname you have for each other, it really just like it lowers the guard.
True.
If you came in with a lot of, I'm like, actually, babe, sister, what are you doing? You know, but you want me Aki Kamau, what are you doing? But it doesn't, you see, it doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah.
Aki, honey, why are you like this? Like, baby, I want, inafanya mtu mpaka atanasikia goosebumps size. It feels very nice. Sweetie, whatever you guys call each other.
And don't care what other people think, what other people say.
Don't worry about it.
At the end of the day, it is you and your person.
You and your relationship.
And I remember like my mom and my aunties making fun of my other auntie because her and her husband call each other bye. It's bae.
Oh.
They don't know how to say bae. So it's about maintenant bye. I'm like, what do you mean bye? So by the time I actually understood, it's bae. They're old, but they're baes. It's today they still call each other bye.
Oh, that is
Bye
so
bye.
cute.
I'm like, okay, that's cute.
It is so cute. And in the same beat of just calling each other by different names, there are also people that I remember when I was younger, and like your dad would bring you something special on the way back home. Unajua anapiga simu anasema ninaleta nyama. Hiyo siku. Your mother is ready. Amepika kwa chapati, amepika kwa mchele, nyama inakuja. Your father is bringing meat. I'm telling you that day, I'm sure somebody got something. Because there's something really, I don't know, nice about thinking about the fact that your partner, wherever they are, they're thinking about not just you, but your family. They're thinking about, hey, baby, watu wanakula sapa nini. You know, not just showing up kila siku amekazana huko na magazeti amekaa huko kwa kona. It's really nice when someone brings something back, not just for you, even for the kids. It can be as small as a lollipop. And I never used to understand that growing up, that someone can just bring a lollipop and everyone is happy. When the kids are in a good mood, the wife is in a good mood. When the wife is in a good mood, you're about to get some, my friend. So I think small things like that, just bringing something home. For those who are more on the urban side, bring a few. You don't even have to bring a whole bouquet. One rose, that table.
Some chocolate.
That table. You know, she likes, a little bit of like this particular juice. Doesn't even have to be alcohol. Not everyone takes alcohol. She likes this particular juice. Just bring it on the way back.
Yeah, them so.
No initiation, no nothing. You're siku.
Yeah.
You're siku.
And I remember like growing up, the way we would send like for groceries, like if you needed something, I mean, it's like just send a message, just send your dad a message, just send your mom a message. Like umekata hakuna chumvi, send your dad a message, and just write a list of things you want. No hi, no how are you, nothing. I take my mom's phone, I just send bread, chumvi, milk, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, this man just comes with the things he was sent. And I kind of grew up thinking that was normal. You're the man of the house. You're supposed to do this. And it got into my relationship. I remember like initially doing the same thing. And it didn't feel right, but I still did it because like, see, if I need something, I just...
That's what it's done.
No hi, no how are you? I just sent the list. Sent. And then, it kept going. Yes, he'd bring the things I've sent for. And then it kept going on for a while until one time I was the one who was outside and he did the same to me. Let me tell you, I felt angry. God damn. You haven't talked to me all day and you want to send me to buy things. And when I understood, when I was put in that position now, I felt how I had been making this other person feel.
Oh, that is so sad.
So now every time when I want something, I'm like, hi, my love. Hi, my baby. Hey. If you can, is it possible that you pass by and buy something? Like always, all the time.
It doesn't feel like they're obligated to do it. It feels more like a duty of service, like an act of just like, I am providing for my family. And this is what my wife wants.
Because even I got money, I might as well.
You can always buy.
You can always buy. I am asking somebody to go out of their way, and now for everything to come together in your relationship, for every inch to be working, all the parts to be working, a huge part of you having a spicy relationship or a freaky relationship is how you resolve conflict. Conflict resolution is huge. And if you're like me, who's always wanting to win,
Mm.
I'm gonna win, but at what cost?
Some hell or high water.
It can be difficult. And I think a huge part for me is I am never able to say sorry. Saying sorry is huge for me. I really play into that stereotype of women never say sorry. And over time, I realized that if I don't take accountability, this relationship won't work, because I'll always have somebody who's very resentful, because I will always win the argument, and I always have to be number one, and my needs always have to be taken care of, and they always have to come second. And I realized,
that's what she said. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true, baby. Yeah. No, I can't come second. I have to come. Anyway, guys, that taking accountability in your relationship and actually saying sorry when you're wrong, that is huge for me. And resolving conflicts, that's difficult. How do you resolve conflict?
First of all, there's so many things I have learned over my relationship and now marriage, because honestly, I was also very much like you. I have to win. It doesn't matter. It is my word that is last, and whatever you say is a non-issue unless you listen to me. If you don't understand what I'm saying, then none of this is going to be a conversation ever. Like, we're done. Like, I will really be angry. I will really fester and have that argument going on for a long time. And then additional to that, my husband is a very soft-spoken person. Like, he's so soft-spoken. Don't assume that soft-spoken does not mean he's also a very tactical fighter. He is very tactical. Now, the thing is, he's very soft-spoken, and he really thinks before he says what he's about to say. And like me, to be entirely honest, naongeanga, it's my brain catching up with my mouth. That's how that used to work. So my mouth is already running. I'm like, what am I saying really? It doesn't even actually tabulate in men that I've said things, and then that means I end up saying things that are so wrong, so mean, so hurtful. Now, he on the other hand, before he says something, you will see him calculating before those words are coming out of his mouth. Yeah, here's what I think. Sasa yote amefikiria. Mimi ningekuwa nimepiga 70 words. 70. Nime-interject. So before he even gets anything out, I have said like a million things. I have already changed what he was thinking about. Now he's in a different argument altogether. Now, I learned to have to listen. It is because of my relationship that I have learned to actually listen to people. I never used to listen to anyone. Half the time, if I'm meeting with you, I won't know anything about you, but you will know everything about me. Everything.
You're gonna hear about it.
You will hear everything about me, where I slept, how I slept. And then I have another problem because I always forget so quickly. I forget so quickly what I was going to say. So I also feel the need to like speak before I forget it. So, for example, Turi will tell me, Bede, I got these jeans from XYZ. Bede, the very nice jeans, guys. Nice. I got these jeans from XYZ. And then as she's about to continue explaining, and the way she'll say something like, I bet they were so rude. I'm like, oh my God, I also went there, and then when I went there, they were so rude. They said da-da-da-da. Turi will try and say what they said. I'm like, yeah, they said exactly that to me. I've already taken over the conversation. I've already taken over. Now Turi is just, And I used to be like that with literally everyone. But nowadays, I actually try and listen before I interject. And if I am going to interject, it has to be I try and make it a solid point, either in agreement or in addition. Because wow, Miss Joy kunyamaza. Hey, boo, imebidi anipatie mtu wa kunifunza kunyamaza. So now that has also allowed me to understand that also fighting styles are different. When I have a problem, I come directly. I'm like, hey, A, B, C, D, Y, Z. Okay, and I'm sorry, or I think you should. For him, I've told him this information. He's like, okay. It will take him like 2-3 working days, 2-3 working days to really break down what you just told him, and then to come back with a response. And now, story. Now he's like, okay, I think we need to sit down and have a chat. I'm like, and chat about what? You actually got to get too much. Let's have a chat. I'm like, chat about what? Let's have a chat now. Let's have a conversation later in the evening. or tomorrow afternoon.
No.
Yani ninalala na anxiety. Yani siwezi fikiria. Kichwa changu tu iko like, what the hell? What did I do? Is there something I did? Now you're running through everything, all the scenarios in your head. It's taught me to actually be okay with that. That you need to give someone grace to tell you the information at a time that they are comfortable and they've really thought it through. So nowadays, even if he tells me, let's have a chat on next week on Wednesday, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, no worries. Kitambo, hey, Aki just tell me, Aki just tell me, what's wrong? Aki just tell me, Aki just tell me. And then it makes the person even more anxious, even more angry if they were angry. So, these days, unasikia mimi nikiwa na shida nitasema yangu yote. And sometimes also realizing that we don't have to resolve everything now. Like simply because you're having this conversation now about an issue we have now. Sometimes just come to me when you don't know what is happening. So we have a rule where if something is bothering you, even if you've not actually gotten to a point of like figuring out exactly what's bothering you, it's important to actually tell someone, hey, by the way, something's bugging me. I'm not quite sure what it is. So please understand if I am a little withdrawn. Please understand if I'm a little quiet. It's nothing to do with you. There's just something bugging me and I haven't gotten to the bottom of it. So just give me some time until I get out, and when I do, we'll have a chat. Things like that. Badala ya unanyamazia huyo mtu amenyamaza uko like nilifanya nini? Na wewe mnyamazia uko like nilifanya nini? No, just tell them, hey, I'm really thinking about something's bugging me, I'm not too sure what it is. And even then, even if they don't really figure it out, just having that conversation over time, as it is happening in your mind, let's continue having that conversation as well. It's very helpful. Very helpful.
And it takes a lot of growing up to actually do these things. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you will slip up here and there and say, you're a bastard.
I used to be so scared of those conversations. I'd say, let's not have them in the house. So we would take the car, drive, go somewhere, stop. In the middle, saa mbili usiku tumeenda mahali tumesimama tu tumepark tunaongea. And like, I used to be so nervous about these conversations. Like it will leave a weird energy. Hey, wait, I've grown, nimetoka mali.
And also, I'm learning to not fight over text.
Thank you.
This has been so huge for me because women in keyboard warrior. On the phone, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think and 2 more cents. Because who do you think you are? Maybe I will tell you in a very strongly worded English message.
Google
I have a talent. You don't need Google in the moment. Zinakuanga hapa. Inakuwa ikinichoma. Alafu because I'm not foolish, na go through the text again before he send, because I would hate for the severity of my message to be watered down by a typo. Can't be me. I will send. I'm very heartful, a very direct message, so that you know how hurt I am. Alafu nakila sema, yeah, and that's right. And I sit back and relax. And then I got somebody who is not shaken by my tantrums. Atona a message and niache hapo red. You know how annoying that is. What do you mean you don't want to engage?
Reaction.
What do you mean you don't want to engage with my severe text? What do you mean you don't want to answer it? Hey, no, can't be me. Nitakukuta kwenye huko, because who do you think you are? So I feel having to wait until I can see somebody face to face to have a civil conversation and say, hey, I don't like this and this and this and this. I don't like how it made me feel. I'm feeling angry and I'm feeling very frustrated. How can we move forward? Me, I got somebody who does not. He will not.
You call someone, you're shouting. He's like, you know what? I understand you're angry, but do you want to call me back?
Hey.
Or let me call you back in 10 minutes.
The Lord has humbled me in many ways.
What do you mean call me back in 10 minutes? Like, I understand. Let me call you back in a few minutes. So inakuforce unakuwa calm. Ndio kile unasema inasemeka inasikika.
Or like I raise, because me when I get angry, I don't, it doesn't happen often, but you know, those piled up small aggressions, and I've not communicated them, we've not addressed them, so they've just been piling up. And then one day, I will blow up. Maybe it's because you rubbed me, ulipita hivi, ukanigonga hivi, nikafanya hivi. Ndio hiyo.
Umeongezewa.
So here I am, shouting, screaming, and then this person is just like, okay, let's do this. Let me rush somewhere quickly, and then when I come back, we can have a conversation.
Damn!
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? So just having to be in a space where I am in control of my emotions first. I sit down, I write them down. Me, I will write them down and say, this bastard did this to me.
Yeah.
I hope you die. I hope. And then after that, I calm down and I say, hey, can we talk? I'd like to say something. Getting there has been difficult.
It is so much strength.
And that is why healing is a process. It's not healed. I will spaz. From time to time, I will throw a cup. Because I don't think because I'm quiet, I'm not deadly. From time to time, I will throw a cup. But it's been a process.
It's so strange whenever I hear you speaking sometimes. I'm like, man, I remember when I was that person. You know, it's like over the years you become such a different, but it also depends on your partner. That's why we're saying for each relationship, understand that every relationship is different, every person will deal with issues differently. However, these are the basics that we've employed in our relationships to make sure that we're not in a position of like constantly butting heads. Lakini kudina watu mature sometimes unatakanga tu yani ukuwe na little immaturity. Siku moja tu, let's just become immature for a little bit so that I can be an idiot. I can say what I want to say, because when you're idiots, it feels very nice sometimes. But maturity is maturity. What are you gonna do about it?
It don't happen overnight.
It does not.
You heal.
It is really a journey,
and you work on yourself. And I feel like I said this yesterday. You will never escape working on yourself.
Oh, absolutely not.
You will never escape the things that plague you that nobody else.
Absolutely not.
At some point, you're going to deal with them, and until you deal with them, until you address them, until you address your traumas, your inner desires, everything, until you address those things, trust me, they will follow you out.
Absolutely.
And they will manifest in the most weird ways. You're like, hey, why did I have that feeling about somebody? Somebody just did something. It's like, that bitch. And you're like, hey, why did I feel like that?
Why was that my reaction?
Why was that my reaction?
Why was that my knee-jerk reaction calling this person a mother?
You see somebody shining on Instagram, amepiga picha hapo Greece. Unasema mambo ya sports, and I'm like, hey.
Why is that where I went? Where is this jealousy?
She could have saved her whole life on this trip.
You know?
Where did that come from?
Hiyo ndio najaribu sasa. Hapo ndipo ninajaribu. Because sometimes unaonanga watu huko na shine unasema bloody una jam tu na hakuna kitu mtu anakufanyia. Somebody's just living their best life.
What is that wickedness?
Wait a minute. Ama una self-talk. You know, the self-talk where you're just chilling and then you say something really mean to yourself.
Oh, I did that.
Nowadays, I will literally have a mental conversation with myself. I was saying like, lakini hapa, na hii kunona. Oh, like, excuse me, what did you just say to me? Like in your head. You just go, what the?
I was actually surprised. And I couldn't find.
Muna argue kwa kichwa. Wewe na wewe. You versus you. You argue until you get to a point of confluence. Because what is that?
I couldn't find anything cute. Nimetembea. Alafu nikajipi. Ungekuwa umekondo umepata. And I was like, hey, come on. Ni hawa stop. Sio mimi.
Damn minute.
What? And you know, it was so loud.
So very loud.
If you were thinner, you would have found something to wear already.
You don't get.
And then I paused. I was like, hey,
come on.
Don't be wicked with yourself.
Like that.
Hey, come on.
Unaongelesha nani hivyo? Sasa ndio kwa kichwa. You can.
It was like immediate. Negative, and I was like, hey, come on, stop that. And before that, I just let that fester. I would walk.
You just keep thinking about it. Now you're walking out of and you're hunched back because you're feeling embarrassed.
So ninge pa cafe ninunue tu lemons. Nikunywe tu dimu because
never ever. Nowadays, even with my 3 layers of stomach, I will still wear that bodycon. Utambia. And I feel very nice. Because I talk about look at that curve. Do you know?
If you have an opinion about somebody who is fat, it means you're jealous that they have access to food.
Do you have problems?
And that makes no sense.
Do you know how nice it feels when you're actually, even when you're showering, you have corners, nooks and crannies.
I'm so nice to cuddle with. Nipigie kwa number 077.
As in, these things start from within. You cannot have you cannot love people so much, but you forget to love yourself.
True.
You cannot be so patient with people and you forget to have that for yourself. Like the self-esteem needs to be esteemed. It needs to come in a steam chukua in steamer. Pick a steam. Because honestly, you cannot be falling over backwards for everyone else, but you can never do that to yourself. Imagine, unaona fanya mtu shopping unajaza nyumba yake kwa nyumba hauna kitu. But like, how does that make sense? You know, you're over there dishing money to everyone. And you can never bring that. I mean, I'll never forget. There's something I always remember. My dad tipping a pump station attendant. Give them a tip of 1,000 shillings. And less than 30 minutes earlier, I had asked for some money to buy something. That, you know, those are the things that you go back to and you're like, you know what? You can never be better to other people than you are to yourself and to the people you love. Otherwise, it will always plague you that hapa najifanya. It will always feel hypocritical and you will never be at peace. So,
And I think the conversation we had for us to even have this topic was I was telling you about being shy about buying lingerie.
Yeah.
I was feeling some type of, it was like, you know, like the relationship I have with this person, like nitavaa lingerie niwaambie come on daddy, alafu tuangue kicheko tucheke tutacheka lakini bado nita feel some type of, you know. And then she's like, just communicate, have that conversation. So now I'd like to ask you, nyinyi mnalala na nini?
Mnavaa na nini?
Kienda kulala mnavaa nini? Najua kuna baridi lakini mnavaa nini? Unavaa nini? Unasema hapa na mimi najua.
Mimi ninavaa ka shorts. Very nice. Lakini unavaa socks. Unavaa short, very nice. Unavaa ka top vizuri, unakaa nako kidogo kidogo. Ikifika masaa kwenda kwa kitanda, unahunikila sweater. Juu kuna baridi. But at the same time, I looked sexy during the many hours we were awake. So kwa unataka kufanya kitu, ulikuwa na time. Ulikuwa na time na ulikuwa na show.
Nikivaa sweater ni hivyo.
Nikivaa sweater na socks. Chapter closed. Kama if you see me in the morning, nikienda kuchukua kitu huko chini. Watu wanaweza dhani this is the most unsexy human being. Umevaa kidera, house shoes, kitambaa, umepiga. Nakaa ni kama mtu ametoka kulala.
Mimi wako delivery muniwe that I'll be wow.
But there will be a show. But there are days when it's nice and hot. But sometimes, you know, when you hear the doorbell, you have to quickly give yourself a second when you buy more clothes, you wait for mlango. Because there's barely anything on your parcel. Barely uko tu living your best life. Lazima uende uvae nguo ndio uje kuangalia na kwa mlango. Otherwise, kwa mlango hivyo.
Sasa na mimi call.
That's 2 hours. So yeah, I think it's very, very important to have these conversations because that's another thing I realized. Not everyone's love story is similar to yours. Before, I used to assume that everyone has a very similar love story. Everyone talks the same way to their partner. Everyone is the same. Like every love story is the same. And if I heard someone else's story, I'd always come in judgment and be like, you know, I would always come from a point of I'm better than you. Like I do love better than you. But I've realized people are so different. People love each other differently. People's love languages are different. The way they relate to each other. Like me, baby, if I was to be roasted, mi naeza lia mpaka kesho. As in, kerero, kulia.
If you even like
kesho,
laughed a little bit. Ama usmile, like you show sexy smile. You ni comedic smile.
Saskia. Me, I would cry because that is not for me. But for some people, you see their relationship, the way they roast each other and they have fun about it. You're like, oh, that is so nice. I'm really happy for you. It looks different, but it is their version. So don't judge simply because you do it differently. Everyone's love story is different. The way they met is different. Not everyone alipatana na flowers, wengine walipatana kwa matatu, wengine walipatana kwa chat. It's different. So do not judge, just appreciate what you have and keep preaching the same to others.
Show that.
Yes, show that. Please. Your relationships better shine.
Keep it spicy. Keep it nice. Keep it spontaneous. But also communicate. Being an adult, you have to communicate your spontaneity.
Yes, please. Ambia mtu mapema.
Wezi show up na lingerie na kabuti. Alafu pate hiyo ni siku akona wageni.
Imagine. Mfunga mlango hivi na trench. I love you that day. Kutoka Kamulu. I've told you this story before.
Yes,
Kamulu. Hadi hapa. Nimevaa nothing on the inside except this bodysuit, heels. Alafu juu nimevalia trench coat kutoka Kamulu.
Hata uko like sweatpants kwa handbag.
Ati
Okay.
na simu.
Na ungerudi aje?
Ama ungerudi the same. Simu na nguo.
Oh, alright.
Si unajua kuna nguo. So umetoka Queen, umejua kuna nguo. But hivyo na mtu wa Uber angepata puncture. Aniambie kuja unisaidie. Ingefanya nini?
Uko na lingerie na trench coat.
But I really always had that fantasy
of
like showing up and like just nothing, you know? I had that fantasy. So I exercised that fantasy. But be careful.
I would love that, but unfortunately, I would have to carry like clothes, especially like it's a new relationship you wanna.
Spicy.
I would have to carry like clothes in my handbag. Because unfortunately, I am attracted to people who are very smaller than me. Hata sweatpants yako siwezi vaa, haitaingia. Gwekata. Lakini walisema dawa ya baruni sindano.
There we go.
Yeah, I know that's right. Anyway, you guys
finish.
That's how you keep it spicy.
Keep it spicy.
It's not just sexy. It has to communicate. You have to be in a safe space. You have to feel space. You have to feel heard. You also have to be in a space where you can listen to this person. It's just not always about you. It's also about this other person. Yeah.
You're in a partnership. It's a relationship. It's not the woman and then the man. I actually don't like it when people say a happy wife, happy life. Because it's not really true. If you really genuinely care for someone and love them and you can see that they're not happy, how are you going to be happy? Yeah, as long as you win, you're happy. I think that's not right. But anyway, to each their own. And like we said, every relationship is different. So do what you gotta do to keep your relationship on the up and up.
That is our time. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. Bye. Keep it spicy.
Spicy.